I've always liked things that you can use in multiple creative ways. It's really fun to have something that can serve one purpose and then turn around and do something else. A prime example of that is the game making engine RPG Maker. Okay, I guess that applies to any game-making engine, but shut up, I'm trying to make a point. At face value, it looks like a very basic tool for creating bare-bones RPGs, and, there's a reason why that stigma exists. Yeah, I've seen plenty of RPG Maker games out there that make a 5-year-old's macaroni arts and crafts project look like the next Mona Lisa, but that doesn't mean that you should be so narrow-minded. Several people have taken RPG Maker and created unbelievably unique and charming experiences with it by turning the limitations of the engine on its head. Games like Elisa, which is entirely in 2D instead of the standard overhead view, or Jimmy and the Pulsating Mass, the game I talked about last time, where you can transform and change your abilities in battle on the fly. Some people don't even use RPG Maker to make RPGs, they instead use it to make simple adventure games. And there's one game in particular that alone kickstarted all of this. I think. Yume Nikki was one of, if not the first RPG Maker game to explore the other possibilities of the engine. It was released all the way back in 2004 by someone going by the name of Kikiyama. Who might this person be? I have no idea, and nobody else seems to know either. Wowie Zowie, a weird game made by an anonymous Japanese person. How spooky. Anyway, the game picked up some attention, and there was an unofficial English translation at some point, and ever since then, it's had a huge influence on future RPG Maker games. It's a very beloved game, and even though I've heard a lot about it over the course of several years, I figured that it's still a game that I should try for myself. It was put on Steam a little while ago. How the publishers got in contact with Kikiyama will remain as one of life's greatest mysteries. One more thing I want to mention before we jump in. I won't be talking about that reimagined version of this game, Yume Nikki Dream Diary. That was released in 2018 shortly after the original game was put on Steam. I haven't played it myself, but I've heard pretty mixed things about it, and I think it looks kinda bad. I have no interest in playing it myself. The only way you'll get me to play it is if this video does super well and I get a bunch of requests to cover it. But for now, I'm just gonna sleep on that. There's very little story to be told here. That's super refreshing for me. You play as a girl named Marutsuki who lives in this apartment that she refuses to leave. I mean, I guess we could maybe play some video games. Okay, well, I guess not. Instead, let's go to bed. You'll find yourself in a dream world, and by leaving the dream apartment, you'll be taken to the Nexus. The Nexus is pretty much a hub. Each of these doors lead to several different worlds that you can explore at your leisure. That's the whole game. Just explore these surreal areas and find effects in each of them. Oh yeah, the effects. These can do a variety of things. A lot of them are cosmetic and useless, some can be used to solve puzzles, others can get certain reactions from NPCs, and then there's the actually useful ones. The knife and the bike. The knife is very clearly used to cut vegetables to be used for cooking. Nah, it's actually a weapon of mass destruction. You just use it to kill people pretty much. And the bike lets you travel faster. Seriously, get the bike as soon as you can. I know this game is all about exploration, but man, it takes so long to get anywhere without the bike. Now, I already knew this, so that was the first thing I looked for on my travels. Not before playing with the office chair, of course. After that important business was done, the first thing I proceeded to do in the dream world was go to sleep in the bed again. Was that stupid? Yeah, I mean sure, maybe a little bit, but I got taken to a random place and accidentally left. This is a random event too, and I discovered it immediately. Not only that, but as I said earlier, I was looking for the bike, and whenever I got back to this place a little later, it eventually led me to the spot where the bike effect was located. Funny how that works out. So right off the bat, my experience with the game was looking for something, unintentionally finding a secret, and then having that secret bring me to the item I was actually looking for. Stuff like that is just so much fun, dude. However, we've barely scraped the surface of what this dream world has to offer. This game is all about exploring and seeing all the weird and sometimes creepy stuff in this huge world. Yeah, you're tasked with getting the effects, but the adventure is really what matters here. There are several doors in the Nexus that will bring you to different worlds with a bunch of different themes. One has these candles, one has weird geometry, one is pitch black, etc. Though each area isn't all that big. If you walk in a straight line, then you'll quickly loop back to the other side of the map. This might sound weird, but I actually have mixed feelings about the worlds in terms of their concept. Like, some of them feel like actually fleshed out concepts, while a lot of others feel like, bro, let's just put a bunch of eyeballs here! Not really a big deal though. Occasionally I just found myself going, okay, let's go exploring. No, not that one. No, not that one. Yeah, this one's okay. With that said, let's actually talk about the exploration, since that's kinda the whole purpose of the game. If you really wanted to, you could boil the whole game down to walk around a couple of moderately sized rooms and find worthless cosmetic stuff you'll never use because you're always using the bike. Because at face value, I guess that is technically what you're doing, but there's a lot more to it than just that. The music in the game is short and loops quickly, however it isn't very annoying. It's actually quite atmospheric. Along with these surreal worlds, the game gives you a very immersive and interesting experience. You'll wander around aimlessly for quite a while searching for the effects, and while that may sound like a major problem, here it's the main appeal. And if that wasn't enough, then there are certain parts of the maps where you can delve a little deeper into the dream. These are my favorite areas in the whole game, because I feel like I stumbled across something big, and if I find a hidden effect there, then it makes me feel so happy. Happy that I had this chill time just walking around and discovering new areas I hadn't seen before, and being rewarded for finding them. One of my favorite areas was this big red maze. I think this might be a slightly unpopular opinion, I'm not entirely sure, but I always liked finding my way here. The reason I like it so much is because there are a bunch of points in the maze that will teleport you to another area, usually one that I had yet to explore. Now then, while there are plenty of great and relaxing areas in the dream world, well, dreams aren't entirely pleasant, so you're bound to come across some creepy and downright horrifying stuff. I don't understand why RPG Maker games are always associated with horror. For one, while a lot of the music is relaxing in my opinion, there are a few tracks that don't sit well with me. And not because they're bad tracks. There are plenty of areas that can be pretty eerie due to how atmospheric this game can be. Something I haven't mentioned yet are actually the chasers, or whatever they're called. These long-necked bird people that appear in various parts of the world. They'll chase Maritsuki, and if they touch her, then... Oh, shut up! You're killing the mood! If they catch her, then you'll be teleported in a confined area that you can't escape without waking up. At any point while you're exploring the dream world, you can press the 9 key on the keyboard to wake up. Very useful if you want to save or start a fresh exploration session. But yeah, anyway, that's all the threat these guys put up. They aren't really that bad, since you outspeed them while riding the bike, and also their AI makes the YouTube executives look like a group of modern Einsteins. I don't really know if there's any way around them aside from running away like a virgin. I mean, one time I saw one and I was so prepared to have some dinner and so I struck it and he died, but I still got teleported. So, in other words, I won. Oh, and I guess I can't talk about this game without mentioning the most iconic thing in it, Uboa. If you have very minimal knowledge about this game, then that knowledge probably includes knowing about Uboa, and if you don't know about him, then you're lying. Basically, in the snow world, there's this portal that leads to this area with balloons that will teleport you around. Eventually, you'll find this house with this girl in it, and this house has an interactable light switch. If you turn off the lights in this house, then there's a chance for something to, change. It's like a 1 in 50 chance, and it's decided when you enter the house, so you can't just mindlessly flick the lights off and on. You have to exit and re-enter. Obviously, I knew about Uboa, and I wanted to show him in this video, so here's footage of me absolutely tearing this freaking light switch to shreds to try and get him to show up. No, I have no clue how anyone figured this out. As you can see, it's taking quite a long ass time for him to appear. I mean, he might be a little shy or something like that, but for real, somebody out there found this out by accident. Just imagine that. Like I said earlier, the chances of him appearing are really slim, and I'm pretty sure nobody left and re-entered the house countless times thinking, oh, if I turn this light off, then surely something will change in me. BOO! Gotcha. So I made a friend, and if you touch him, you get brought to this weird looking place with something going on in the background. Interpret this how you will. Personally, I think it looks like he's having fun. I encountered several other things in the dream world, but telling you too much will kinda take away part of the fun of the game. I think Yume Nikki is a game that everybody should try out. Sure, it's definitely not for everyone, but I had a fun time just walking around and seeing all the absurd and creepy stuff. As of scripting this video, I still haven't finished it, but I do know how the game ends, and I found like 14 of the effects, and I saw a lot of interesting things, so I think my opinion on the game has been solidified. Just try it for yourself. I think it might leave an impression on you. We have Yume Nikki to thank for really showing how RPG Maker could be utilized to create all sorts of memorable little games. I know it sounds like I'm gushing a lot, but trust me, I don't like it that much, but it did give me exactly what I was expecting, plus more, so I think it deserves all the praise I'm giving it. So yeah, I'm actually really happy that I ended up liking it. I'm Luggician, and thank you very much for watching.